Hey everybody, Mackenzie Lambert here, joined by my good friend and colleague John Cleveland.
Hi everybody.
This is going to be an intense, jam-packed edition of What a Year.
Yeah.
I honestly did this. We have for this we're going to do this one is going to be the years 1950 through 1955 because honestly I thought. I didn't think we saw this many movies in this time period, but apparently we've seen quite a lot, actually.
Yeah, seriously.
So this will be the first time and last time we do like a 6-year movie batch like this.
Yes, this is no more of this.
Nah, 3 years at the most is what we'll do as a batch.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, so... And looking at these movies, I can honestly say if I ever hear someone say there were no good movies made before 1980, I'm just going to punch them in the face.
There's so many good movies.
Because during this period, literally some of the best movies ever made were made during this period.
Yeah, there's so many good ones, man.
Yes. I'll go ahead and I'll get mine out of the way because I'm going to be the shorter of the two of us.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
That's probably true. I have a lot of honorable mentions.
All right, I'm just going to hop into my honorable mentions.
Right.
Really good Disney stuff. You got Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan. Childhood favorite of mine, Abbott and Costello and Jack and the Beanstalk. Mm-hmm. You have one of the last Universal monsters introduced in Creature in the Black Lagoon. And I've actually seen some people also bring up This Island Earth as a Universal monster movie because of the Metaluna mutants.
Sure. I wouldn't have classified it as that, but sure.
Yep. You've got Picnic, which is a really good movie featuring William Holden. And if you see this movie, you'll definitely see why William Holden is Bruce Campbell's favorite actor, because there is a lot of Ash Williams in this performance.
It's fair.
The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Classic.
And my last honorable mention is House of Wax 3D, starring Vincent Price, and early in their career, Charles Bronson.
I am so surprised it's not in your top 10.
Nah, but that shows you just how good this is.
Yeah. You did not put a Vincent Price movie in your top 10.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, so here we are. My main 10. Number 10, Rebel Without a Cause, starring James Dean. Tommy Wiseau's favorite movie.
By far.
Yes. Number 9, Streetcar Named Desire. If your first exposure to Marlon Brando was either The Godfather or, Apocalypse Now, you'd be like, okay, I don't see what the big deal with this guy is. But then you see A Streetcar Named Desire, and you're like, okay, now I can see why people were falling all over this guy.
If you watch The Godfather and Apocalypse Now and do not understand why Brando is great, you have missed several things about those two movies.
Yes.
He is excellent in both of them. But yes, he is not the center of either. He is a character within.
Yep. He
is the center of A Streetcar Named Desire. Yeah.
Number 8, Them. Just one of the great giant bug movies
Fantastic
of all time.
Film.
Yep. And a blink you'll miss it cameo appearance by an early Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, a real blink and you'll miss it.
Yes. Number 7, The 7-Year Itch, which is just an iconic scene with Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just didn't think that would be in your top 10. Okay.
Well, here's number 6, All About Eve. Just your very typical Hollywood story.
Yeah, very.
Yes.
Okay.
Number 5, a movie that almost was going to be an omission because I hadn't seen it, but now this past week I corrected it. Kurosawa's The Seven Samurai.
Jesus Christ, it took you this long to watch Seven Samurai?
Yes.
Do you see why we've been telling you? And how, every story is based, for half of Hollywood action films are just Seven Samurai knockoffs.
Yes. And Mifune as his wily samurai character was the best part of the movie for me. I love watching his performance.
Oh, such a good movie, man. I guess we're going to have to go through a different... I didn't realize you hadn't seen all of Kurosawa's works, so we have a task to do.
My number 4 is Stalag 17, basically the movie that inspired Hogan's Heroes.
Yep.
Another great William Holden performance, and a young Peter Graves.
He's from Biography.
Yeah. My number 3, Les Diaboliques, the movie that out-Hitchcock Hitchcock.
Yeah, it did. What was it? It's just... It's unfortunate because at this stage, it's one of those... It's like the Blair Witch Project, in the fact that, you didn't experience it, and we didn't experience that, So we'll never fully understand it. But all you need to know is that movie didn't invent the twist ending, But boy, did it
does
cement
have a
it.
twist, yes.
But boy, did it cement the twist ending.
Yeah, I remember actually posting on Instagram saying that this is a movie with the twist that rivals M. Night Shyamalan, and then M. Night Shyamalan actually liked it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, of course he did. You just compared him to a much better film.
yeah. And it's been also remade a couple of times as well, but still, the original is still the best.
Yes, it is. It still holds up. It's Criterion. I mean, as a lot of these films we pick are, so we shouldn't really be saying anything at this point. But it is well known for being a Criterion film.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I don't even know if you can get it not as a Criterion edition. At this
Oh,
point.
you can still get it. It's just going to be the Criterion's always resell ridiculously high.
Yeah, because it's fantastic.
Yep. My number 2, Rear Window from director Alfred Hitchcock, starring Jimmy Stewart.
I am now interested in what your number 1 is.
My number 1, King of the Monsters, Gojira.
All right, rock on.
Yep.
Rock on. No argument to be had about that whatsoever, but I had pegged you for Rear Window being number 1. So.
Yep, but I mean, just this 6-year chunk of movies is just nothing but classic after classic after
solid
classic.
bangers.
Yep.
Yeah, all great films.
Yep.
All right, well, I have a much larger list because I have my honorable mentions broken down by year. I try to keep it within like 3 or to 5, but a couple years go a little beyond that. So warning.
Yeah. Buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up, folks. Hope you like my voice. You'll be hearing it for a bit. All right, so between the years 1950 and 1955, 26,625 movies were released according to IMDb. I'd like to let you know I skimmed through all of them, so we're never doing this again. And that got me to these lists. Honorable mentions by year, starting with 1950. We have Treasure Island, Rio Grande, Harvey, Winchester 73, and Sunset Boulevard.
Wow.
Which upsets me greatly that somehow wasn't in your top 10.
Yeah.
It's one of the best films ever made.
I gotta check that up to having not seen it, so.
Change that!
Yes, I know.
Alright, 51. We've got The Red Badge of Courage, Streetcar Named Desire, The African Queen, another one I had pegged for your top 10, Strangers on a Train, The Thing from Another World, and, of course, The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yep.
From 1952, we've got Singin' in the Rain. We've got Ikiru, which I might be pronouncing that wrong. Ikiru. We've got The Quiet Man, which is one of my buddy's favorite films. And we have High Noon, a contender for one of the best films of all time.
Yep.
High Noon, of course, being famous, or arguably most famous for having a lot of remakes of it, successor remakes, you'd say, inspired by. But then also being the President of the United States' almost always favorite movie. It is the most popular film watched by presidents of the United States.
Right.
Because, for those who don't know, it's about a sheriff who a gang's coming to town to kill him, and he's looking to rally the town, and basically no one helps. Because if they just keep their heads down, everything keeps as normal. He's trying to bring the peace, but no one wants to help. It's all about you against the world.
Yep.
And so I get why presidents, it's popular. Anyway, 1953, The Wages of Fear, Roman Holiday, Hondo, Shane, From Here to Eternity, House of Wax, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, and The War of the Worlds, another science fiction classic, in which War of the Worlds introduces my favorite UFO design in history, and one of my favorite sounds. The sound they make, I love it. I just love it. 1954, Them, as you've mentioned.
Yep.
7 Brides for 7 Brothers, River of No Return, and one of my favorite films growing up, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It was also one of my favorite books.
James Mason as Captain Nemo.
Perfect. 1955, we've got Rebel Without a Cause, as you've mentioned. Lady and the Tramp. It Came from Beneath the Sea, and, as you mentioned, Diabolique. We've got a couple bad movies in there, specifically 1953, when the iconic Ed Wood's Glenn or Glenda from 53, and the equally iconic, possibly even more so, Robot Monster, also from 1953, which I just had to bring up because they're both iconic.
Oh yeah, that design's amazing, if for all the wrong reasons.
Yes. So here's my top 10. Now, I've said this before, I will repeat it to no end, but to this one, just like a lot of them, I've said this top 10, if I was to rewrite it right now, it would be in a different order.
Yeah.
These films are so good, and there's several of my honorable mentions that would be in the top 10. You know what I mean? It's fluid. So, but here it was when I wrote it. Number 10, Alice in Wonderland from 1951. Number 9, Animal Farm from 1954. So far, 2 animated films. It's weird.
Yeah.
But those will be the last. Number 8, Creature from the Black Lagoon from 1954. I'm a big fan of Creature from the Black Lagoon. I think it's Frankenstein is the best written of the movies, but I think this is the best of the movies.
Oh no, and just that sequence of the creature mirroring her swimming underwater.
That's the best scene.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm a werewolf fan at heart, and Frankenstein is just the best of the movies. And Dracula was the first, you gotta give respect, but The Monster is the best movie. Number 7, probably the most low key of all these, A Bad Day at Black Rock. It's a fantastic film.
Okay.
Number 6, another Criterion film, Rafifi. Arguably the greatest heist film ever made.
Okay.
There's a very famous scene in it where the whole premise of the heist is there's a sound mechanism, so they can't make any sound when they're breaking into the vault. So there's a whole setup where they go through all the steps in there's no noise, to go through all the steps in training to do it, just so they don't alert the thing. So then when they do it, we know it's happening. It's a beautifully shot film. Again, considered the greatest heist film of all time.
Okay.
Number 5, and the one that I'm probably sure will be the biggest surprise to a lot of the people who know me. Number 5, Gojira. Godzilla. It's not number 1. I'm going to be honest with you, it started as number 1. And it's just one of those things where I'm like, if I'm being honest with myself, I'm a giant Godzilla fan.
Yeah.
I'm a gigantic Godzilla fan. But I do recognize there's a difference between being a giant fan of a franchise and understanding other movies are better than that franchise.
Yeah.
So, now if I was Japanese, this would probably be different, but regardless. Number 4, Seven Samurai, 1954. It is just a phenomenal film.
Yes.
I do like Godzilla better than Seven Samurai, but Seven Samurai is a better film. There's just no argument.
Oh, yeah, fair enough, yeah.
Number 3, again, same. Each one of these I think is a better film. Rear Window.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the best thrillers of all time. It's so good I would actually like to see a remake if done well, because I think it's still valid.
Yeah.
It's one of the best shot films of all time. So many good visuals. Number 2, in arguably Kurosawa's greatest film, Rashomon. It introduced a concept to it's the storytelling in Rashomon revolutionized storytelling. In my opinion, Rashomon is as important to film as Don Quixote is to literature. I don't know, that statement, I do not mean lightly, and is profound. And then, because I think it is also incredibly good, although not as important. If I had to choose importance, Rashomon and Godzilla would be number 1. Probably Rashomon, Godzilla, and Seven Samurai would be 1, 2, and 3, and then probably Rear Window. Okay. But my number 1, because this is my favorite, so I think it's up there with them. Maybe not quite as relevant or as important, but it's also important. But then it's just I like the story better and the acting a little bit better. The Night of the Hunter from 55.
Oh god, Robert Mitchum.
Yeah. Another one I was surprised I didn't hear from you.
That's another one too. There was so much on my back catalog down here. So.
It's so good. It's so good. Mitchum just... Ooh. It's the first time I remember... It is the movie I show people when I want to explain how good and slick and sinister evil can be. Because he is just the most evil man. But he's so slimy and it works. Every time I watch it, I want to have seen him in more things. It upsets me that he just decided, because he can, to just kind of coast. And I think a lot of his career.
Yeah, I mean, I think of
the alcohol really.
Night of the Hunter, but also Cape Fear. Those are the big two for him.
100%. A lot of same energy there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were our selections for the chunk of 1950 through 1955.
Massive chunk.
Yes, and still nothing short of some of the greatest movies ever made.
Fantastic films.
Yes. So we definitely recommend those, and you know what? Don't be afraid to watch movies you are under the impression you may not like.
Yeah, I mean, it still blows my mind that you've never seen, Seven Samurai and stuff. You gotta... Sunset Boulevard, man, that's insane.
Yeah.
But, take that into consideration, too. We're both big film like nerds, and we haven't seen everything. So don't be like I don't want to say intimidated because that's not the right word. But I know that sometimes I'll be like, because there are even movies, classics that I haven't seen, and I'm like, I don't really want to watch this now because it won't live up to the hype, or what if I don't like it and all my friends do? They're going to be like, no, John, you don't know what you're talking about. Just watch the movies. If you can watch older films like Bonnie and Clyde and stuff like this, older films, and enjoy them, it's just the storytelling. Like, if you don't like black and white films, okay, I get it. Don't watch black and white films, but there's plenty of colored films. But hey, maybe it's something where like you watch it and you're like, hey, I don't, this isn't what my life is like anymore. These storytelling, I get it, but just it's helpful to see where the stories are coming from. Like, again, with Seven Samurai, we didn't get, stories like The Magnificent Seven if it wasn't for Seven Samurai.
No, yeah.
So like,
another example, we didn't get Star Wars without the Hidden Fortress.
100%. It's not a shot for shot by any stretch, but like the storytelling element is 100% Hidden Fortress.
Yep.
So like, it's sometimes beneficial to see where that stuff comes from.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So on that high note, we're gonna go ahead and close out here.
Definitely.
I'm Mackenzie Lambert.
I'm John Cleveland.
Have a good day, folks.
Bye.